80,000% hyperinflation, digging trash for food, widespread poverty, and riots. Venezuela, an oil-rich country, is facing its worst economic meltdown in history. But isn't oil equals castle in the dunes, and why does the US president want to get involved? At the center of this chaos is Nicolas Maduro. In May 2019, Maduro was elected for a second term of 6 years. His election was widely controversial and contested. The Venezuelan presidential crisis entered a new phase in 2019 when Juan Guaido, the National Assembly president, Speaker of the House in the US, swore himself in as acting president, a decision that was rejected by the Venezuelan Supreme Court. But this didn't stop the US from recognizing Guaido over Maduro. Only 50 out of 195 countries have since followed suit. The stalemate in Venezuelan politics mobilized demonstrations from both pro and anti-Maduro supporters. Why these political struggles continue? Venezuelan economy plummeted as oil price remained low and production stalled after years of mismanagement.
Every time I go back, the first thing that I'm shocked by is the prices. It's hard to keep up. There was just trash everywhere. A couple times when I've been back, I've seen people digging through trash to get food. And then the power will be a big problem. It's affected me because the economics made it really difficult for my family. I can only work part-time at Temple. It's really just stressful to know that everything's going on back home and I can't really help that much.
The US entered the scene with promises of humanitarian and military aid, which set off a chain of events that was extremely questionable. First, it was President Trump's decision to send a special envoy to Venezuela. This envoy is no newbie. He is Elliot Abrams, the main architect behind the Iraq War. Abrams was also convicted for lying to Congress about the Iran-Contra scandal, where the US overrode its own embargo on Iran to funnel arms sale to Nicaragua, which the US were prohibited from doing in the first place. Have I also mentioned genocide cover-ups?
To this day, El Salvador has been a democracy. That's a fabulous achievement.
Yes or no, do you think that massacre was a fabulous achievement that happened under our watch?
That is a ridiculous question, and
yes or no?
No.
I will take that as a yes.
Second, the US military is sending aid to Venezuela through Colombia, along with plans to send 5,000 troops to the border between the two countries. Shadier is when one of the aid trucks were burned down at the border. Vice President Mike Pence wrote that Maduro henchmen did it, inciting more anger at the Maduro government. A bit quick to jump to conclusion there, because more footage confirmed that the incident was started by accident by the opposition. Third, if the US really wants to help, why hasn't it lifted economic sanctions on Venezuela? In fact, the US expands its sanctions, stopped importing oils from Venezuela completely in March, and cut off Venezuela access to crucial markets and the dollars, things that the country needs to import necessity. The US seems to be the least likely ally of Venezuela, but many remained positive that the US can help change the country's fate.
The country definitely needs humanitarian help. Obviously, the government refuses to admit that because by admitting that they need humanitarian help, they're admitting that they have caused a crisis. And the narrative that they like to spin is that the crisis is caused by the US and by the opposition. But obviously, they're not going to accept help because that would mean, admitting that they messed up and that things are really bad there.